Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to go over some changes that I've made to MinMaxer's Dream ever since the last time I made a video like this, which as it turns out was over a year ago. I didn't expect that, but apparently it has been that long. While I have referenced newer stuff, newer changes, I haven't actually pointed them out. So in this video I'm going to point out all the changes that I've made. And one note, you may notice that this video is, first of all, really long, and secondly, not of the same level of quality I usually do, because this is just an update video, doesn't need that much editing. So I'm just gonna go no script, just to-do list, which I'll show you, it's right here. And yeah, I'm just gonna talk about it like I normally would have. It's basically a stream, but like in recorded format. So first of all, finally, MinMaxer's Dream has a program icon. Like, wow, it took so long. And yeah, let's move on. First of all, weapon select. We have secondary fire modes no longer print the unnecessary stats. Let's have a look at Xikto. There we go. In game, you'll notice that when you have two fire modes, the first one like this has trigger and then it has fire rate, magazine, reload. But if you have a second one, it doesn't print those stats. We used to print those, now we don't. Next up, forced procs. We have had forced procs for a really long time, but I never listed them. And fun fact, the game doesn't list them either. But now this MMD will list them for you. Forced proc, impact. There you go. Player press for selected weapons. Let's select a weapon that actually has a lot of such things like Opticore. All right, let's say I select Opticore and just the quick shot and nothing else. If I exit the game and then start it up again, back in the day, it wouldn't remember what you had selected, but now it will. This isn't a really big thing for the average user, but for me as a developer, especially when I'm in development environment, this is a really big deal because as soon as I make a change, I have to go back and it will reset everything. But now it doesn't. Okay, weapon class drop down. Have a look at this right here, the sideways drop down. This is a weapon class drop down. You can select primary weapons, it'll give you primary weapons. You can select rifles, it'll just give you the rifles, no shotguns. For example, if I was to look up Phantasma, for example, there will be nothing to select. Then go shotguns, but now if I look up Phantasma, there it is. And you can check, there's only shotguns. There's a bunch more of them, but because this version of MMD doesn't actually have all weapons in it, well, technically it does, but it doesn't show them to you. You won't get any other categories, but as soon as I add more weapons, the categories will show up because it currently deletes all the empty categories. Next up, partially developed melee weapons. A while ago, before I uploaded the shotgun video, I had a period of time where I did not have access to internet, so I couldn't make a video, but I had the time to develop a lot of features, and I did just that. What I did is I went ahead and partially developed melee weapons, stuff like heavy attacks, stances, fire mode selection, a lot of complex stuff, and they are already in the game. In the program. They're already in the program, but you can't see them because there are no melee weapons because they're not fully finished. They're like 90% of the way there or something like that, maybe 80%. But yeah, whenever we reach melees, it's going to be real quick to finalize those. Weapon class and stats. Right here you can see this is a rifle, Xikto rifle. This didn't used to be a thing. If I make a shotgun, arcoplasma, it's a shotgun. You can now see what that is. You will not have to look that up or look in the game. You just select something that you haven't seen before. Say Godfall Prime. You're not, oh, Godfall Prime, what's that? It's a rifle. Next up, test variable, steel path modifier. This has been a really long time since I developed this, but right here, if you're testing like level 50 and they're like, oh, I want to take steel path, well, level 50 of steel path would be 150, so that's 150. Also, you cannot make this level 5 of steel path because can you make it level 5 of steel path? Would that work? No, it wouldn't. Steel path enemies are level 100, steel path disabled. There we go. Okay. Percentage-based headshots. Dear Lord. Back in that time frame where I didn't have internet, one of the things that I thought I should do maybe, or I could potentially do, was make percentage-based headshots. People have asked for percentage-based headshots, but I never developed them because, dear Lord, it would be difficult. And yes, it was difficult. It was the equivalent of destroying your entire house, replacing the foundation, then building it up again. That's basically what I did. It took a really long time, comparatively speaking, but we do have it now. I can set this to 50% headshot. I can set it to like 5% headshot, whatever I want, 100% headshot. This was a lot of work to do because back in the day, the program itself was one track. When you had headshots, everything was pre-calculated. You already had headshot multipliers built into stuff, and anything that would need headshot would be called, but anything that didn't need the headshot would never be even active to be possible of getting called. But I had to basically redo the entire system. It was really difficult, so I'm really proud of myself that I get this done. I mean, I didn't really have to, but it was a cool feature to add. I'll tell you that much, and I did just that. Next up, new mods. I'm gonna pull them on screen right now. There's a lot of new mods, like a lot. So yeah, arcane support. Let's move forward. You notice here on the side you have W, A, and E. These are the weapon mods. These are the good old stuff. Then you have A. These are the arcanes. If I go to a shotgun, you'll see even better stuff, because shotguns have slightly different ones. And yeah, we have a arcane slot now. We have arcanes. They're gonna do their thing. Their stats show up here too. Like, look at that headshot multiplier. And if you want to switch between sections, WAE is exiles, by the way. New arcanes. Yep, a lot of arcanes. Look at these bad boys. Let's go to a rifle as well. Yep. Primary plated rounds, primary crocs. All these bad boys work just fine. One thing that would be quite nice to have is if I could skip over the test and just go to the results page. Not as in skip the testing. Well, I guess yes, as in skip the testing. We're just going to go straight to see the results, previous results to be specific. We're not going to do a new test. We just want to see the results without having to go back, and then going results here. Let me do a quick test real quick. Test. Pretend test is finished. Now we have a button right here. Look at this bad boy. You just boop. There we go. That's really handy because when you go back and forth checking this and that, sometimes you go back and you're like, oh wait, what was it again? And then yeah, that button comes in handy. Okay, skip the results. Next, search field for mods. This was another thing that I never thought I would add because I usually wouldn't find the time for it. But now we have it. If you want serration, just there. Make this casual and just look up damage. There. You want the 90 mods? You want the 60 mods? There it is. Easy enough. Status, crit, whatever you want. Just look it up and it'll show up. But however, this isn't as complex as the in-game. Like, you cannot look up viral. That doesn't work. You just have to actually type the name. But with the casual, it's much easier than before, at least. It's not full-on complex tag-based system because that would be too much work. I'm not going to do that. Because there's not that many mods here. All the random nonsense mods that are in the game, they're not here. The ones that do nothing, at least for damage performance, they're not going to show up here. But if there's a specific mod that you can't find, now you can. Where's Vigilante Multishot? There it is. Vigilante Multishot. Next up, locked stat warning. Back in the day, let me give you an example that's going to really drive the point home. Let's go to Cyberus Prime specifically. And did I not put the builds here? Apparently I didn't. Okay, let's say base Cyberus. Let's say we have this build and we want to test out primary acuity. Here it is. And I'm like, okay, what if I replace crit chance with primary acuity? And I do that and I press next. Guess what? Primary acuity locks multi-shot. So your multi-shot mods will provide no benefit when multi-shot is locked. So yeah, here it is. This bad boy is not necessary when you have primary acuity. So those warnings are a thing now. The same goes for locked fire rate. I don't remember which mod it was that locked fire. Oh yeah, I remember. It's Cannonade. Let's go to a weapon like Velt, maybe. Yeah, semi-rifle, and then adding fire rate. Yep, fire rate is locked. So adding fire rate, look at this fire rate right here, 3.67. Add fire rate, nothing happens because it's locked because of semi-rifle base damage, which is semi-rifle cannonade. Next up, multi-warning support, duplicate prevention. Back in the day, if you had multiple fire modes like Xikto, see there's 2 of them, and then you had a warning show up, like say a QT and multi-shot, for example, it would give you a warning for every fire mode, because remember, fire modes are basically separate weapons almost. So every one of them has to go through the tests and the checks, but that resulted in 2 warnings. Now it doesn't. I made a separate ID, the list of all the warnings that are going to get called, and then run a duplicate prevention on it. Done. Redid the entire mod system when arcanes are fully. Oh yeah, when I wanted to develop arcanes, I couldn't just make arcanes mods, because if I did, I could just put them on these slots, which you shouldn't be. You cannot equip 2 arcanes. So I had to make a new version of these mods, but these mods were so badly developed, dear lord, they were absolute garbage. So I decided, bro, this is just adding this new feature would take longer than redoing the entire thing. So I decided to just redo the entire thing. I made an entirely new system just for the arcane slot, and later on for Exile slots I reused that same system, and much later on, just before the shotgun video, I realized that it's finally time to like undo the old system and completely yank it out of the program and use the better, more complex system even for these bad boys. So finally, the entire mod system is harmonized. All of them use the same system. Oh yeah, I think I skipped Exile's mod slots. Yeah, this is the Exile's mod slot here. It usually doesn't do anything. This is just so you can have it in your build when you're sending it to someone. But there are some of them that do something, like Vigilante Supplies. Look at this right here, right under this weak point additive. Or I guess above. Crit Enhance, 0.05. Yeah. They can do things, but just normally Exile slots don't do much. At least in the context of this program. For example, I think holster reload is pretty decent. A recoil is a really important one. Interesting. I didn't remember this being the case. When I grab this to drag it, it's white, but when I grab it from here, it's red. This should also be red. Let me add that to the list of things to fix. Improve dragging on non-white mod slots. Dragging already equipped mods should match the mod slot color. There we go. I'll fix that eventually. It's not a super big deal. Skip results, search field, lock stats, multi-warning, reload, redid the entire system. Yep. New weapon stat shows there's a whole lot of new stats here. For example, look at this. Crit chance, 32%. Headshot crit chance, 144%. That becomes really useful, and it's something that the game does not have. Have a look at this. Aimed AX52. Look at headshot crit chance, 130. That's base, by the way. Well, I guess it's kind of base. Like, it's not going to become 390% if I add this. It's going to just become 180. It's just an extra, what, like 400%, 200%? It's a lot. A lot of crit chance. 26 to 130. It's, well, what's the exact percentage? So 130 divided by 26. Yeah, that's an extra 400% crit chance. So yeah, an extra 200% on top of that is just going to be like an extra 50% on top. An extra 50% crit chance. So this goes from 130 to roughly 180. So yeah, we now have a separate value for that. And look at the QT, it adds weak point additive. There's a bunch of other ones as well, like self-multiplying on headshot bonuses. I don't think primary and rifles have any of those to my memory. That's mostly for bows. Locked fire rate. Is locked fire rate even mentioned? I don't remember locked fire rate being mentioned here. I think I miswrote that. Have a look at acuity. No, it does not say locked fire rate here. In game, it adds a little icon right here. But the issue is I tried doing that, except it didn't work out very well because I couldn't add like Unicodes inside of my text here. It doesn't matter too much. And so on and so forth. Extra multipliers on headshot crit chance, on headshot extra multipliers. Those are mostly for bows and more complicated stuff. We're going to skip those for now. Let's move on to damage display. Multi-shot count for beam weapons. Let's have a look at Amprex. If I just look at Amprex, well, it just does damage. But what if I add multi-shot? Casual names, please. Multi-shot. If I add multi-shot and vigilante multi-shot, lower it to exactly 2. We wouldn't get to... what level is this? Make it 100. We wouldn't get 2 different hits because beam weapons only get 1 hit no matter they're multi-shot. But now it will tell you multi-shot 2. So if I add galvanized and vigil, look at this, multi-shot 3. Later on, it will usually say multi-shot 4 as well. After a few kills. There it is, multi-shot 4. You'll notice that this also changes the number of procs you get because multiple multi-shot hits would have had more chance for status effects. If I pull up the beast of this particular type, which is a shotgun. Convectrix. Do I have a build? Yep. Yep, I do. Yeah. I know this looks really, really confusing. Look at how large these messages are right here. Yeah, they just keep getting bigger, by the way. Let me lock it to the bottom. There we go. They get so big that the font gets smaller. Look at this. Multi-shot 6. Slash proc, impact proc, viral proc, magnetic proc, viral, slash, then headshot, multi-shot, 40,000 value. Yeah, these get really big. And this one is a crit as well. And yeah, look at this below that. Multi-shot 7. Look at how big this one is. So yeah, beam weapons will now tell you when they're multi-shot. A copy button. Do you see this button right here, this bad boy? Yeah, this is new. You know how these messages get really long and sometimes you need something specific. You want to search for it, but you can't because this isn't a text editor. Well, you can do this. Press the copy button. All logs of this test are copied to clipboard. Feel free to paste it in the text editor. Press OK. Open something. Boom. The entire thing right here. For example, if I want to find multi-shot 7s, what's the exact multi-shot 7 like that? Boom, multi-shot 7. Do we have multi-shot 8? No, we don't. Do we have multi-shot, say, 4? Yes, we do. Right at the top, the very first one. There you go. That makes some stuff easier. Overtime damage packages are now a thing. For example, Kodabasso Outfire. This was something that I wasn't planning on adding, but then I had time, so I added it. The way these bad boys work is something like this. When they land a hit, they embed a damage applying instance that applies over time ticks without having to worry about fire rate. For example, when we landed something on time 0.6, on time 1.6, there would be an overtime tick, like you see right here, and they would just compound on top of each other. Just like, it's almost like a status effect, but it uses your mods instead of just doing like a preset damage, not applying crits, not applying any bonuses. Look at these bad boys. Overtime tick, overtime tick. There's going to get so out of hand. There's going to be so many of them. Look at these bad boys. They wrecked it. They killed it. I've only, currently at least, I've only done this for Kodabasso. I am going to go and do it for Torrid and that one bow, which I forgot the name of. Coda, no, not Coda. The Mutilist, Cernos Mutilist. Whenever I get to the bows, I'll make Cernos Mutilist as well. and I'll eventually backwards compatible add this to Torrid and anything else that needs it. There we go. Improved scroll or stuck button. Something that people usually would get really confused over is that they would press this button and then they would try to scroll up. Yeah, it's not gonna let you. Back in the day you could interact with it, but the second you let go, it would instantly go at the bottom. People will get really confused, but no, you'll press this button. You just have to undo that. Next up, improved recycling scroll view. Something that was incredibly frustrating in the older versions, but I couldn't fix it. People would report it to me, oh yeah, this is the issue. I was like, bro, I know, I just don't know how to fix it. I couldn't come up with a solution. I knew the idea behind the solution, I didn't know how to do it. The thing was, every one of these messages will print a new UI element, and they become so many that just rendering something in screen would completely tank the frame rate. I knew the solution was a recycling scroll view, which was, instead of making 5,000 of these bad boys for 5,000 messages, just make as many as it takes to cover the screen. Because look at this right now. There's no way for you to feel, or at least I don't think there's a way for you to feel that there actually isn't that many of these bad. There's like 20 of them, I think. No more than that. The reason for that is whenever this one at the top goes out of screen, it just goes at the bottom and then you see it again. See, there's actually very few of these. So now, even if I let this run, it's still running. Look at this. Look how smooth this baby is. Yeah. It took quite a bit of effort to make this work, by the way. Quite a bit of math. But as soon as I understood the concept behind it, the thing that I wasn't understanding was the fact that the driving factor in this kind of thing is this baby right here, the scroll view. The thing that would initiate the calculations, I thought might be something like collision or something complicated, like a mask maybe. I wasn't sure how to do it, but no, it's just this. Whenever this number changes, the percentage of the scroll bar, for example, it's like at half, it's like at 3/4 towards the end, which would be like 0.75. This would be, for example, 1, and actually it's the reverse. This is 0 and that's 1, but doesn't matter. Whenever the number changes, you do the math and reposition the UI elements. Really nice. Look at this. Look how smooth baby right here. No lagging, no issue. Wherever place you want to go, check the values. Easy. I'm really proud of this baby. That's why I talked about it so long. Next up, improve formatting for stackable complex mods. One thing that was really annoying before was, let me pull up Convectrix or something. Yeah, let's go Arca. Pull up the build. Something that was really annoying before was that whenever you got a buff, it would tell you this is the current, but it wouldn't tell you where from it moved it, like from what to what did you change it. But now it does. It took a lot of effort, relatively speaking, but now almost all of the complex mods will tell you it went from this to this, from 0.4 to 0.8. That's way more useful, especially when you lose a benefit. So for it says we went from, for example, 0.8 to 0, or from 0.8 to 0.4. That's real useful. Next up, duplicate prevention for complex mod. Back in the day, whenever you had multiple effects, multiple fire modes, like Xikto rifle, Xikto, right? And no build. Let's just add the multi-shot and reduce the level to like 5. Whenever you would get a complex mod activating, because complex mods actually have to run for each fire mode, they would run first for the impact and then run again for the explosion, and it would print 2 messages. But now it won't. It will just tell you one of them, which is usually the first one. It decluttered it quite a bit, and that combined with the new format makes it much more readable. Rounded value changes in complex mods back in the day, especially for charged fire modes, because usually when you go from multi-shot 2.7 to 3, it's not, you don't have 50 digits after the 7 or after the 0. So that's not an issue, so I didn't come up with it at the time. But when you have something like Dragoon, which uses charge time, which is, where is the charge time? Oh yeah, we have to use the charged one, 0.5, and then you give it a benefit like FR and reload, there it is. It would be like 3.32, like 6.826, blah, 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 blah. It's very long number because it's not round, but now it'll just round them. This also took a lot of work because I had to go to every one of them and be like, okay, round this, the next one, round this, round this. The reason for that is because you cannot centralize it because all of these are custom. You need specific stats in each of them and you cannot just make a template and call the same thing for all of them. AoE fire modes can't benefit from headshot. This was something that became possible only after I made this bad boy, the percentage based. Let's go back to Xikto. When we have a body shot Xikto, let's make this a custom test for like heavies, for example. Yeah. Look at this, 32 and 27. But now if I make it headshot, oh, it died. Let's increase the level. Level 100. Let's go back to body shot. 15 and 4. No, actually 5 and 4. If we go the non-crit one. Yeah, 5 and 4. If I make it full headshot, look at that. The 5 became 3 times more, became 16. Because it wasn't actually a 5, it was usually probably something like 5.2 or something. Now, even though this is a headshot, the bottom one, it's still just 4. The reason for that is AoE elements just do not get headshot benefits. Or at least 99% of the time, they will not get headshot benefits. It is theoretically, maybe potentially possible, but realistically, they don't get headshot benefits. Okay, next up, results page, sniper stat combo. So yeah, I don't think we have any snipers in this iteration, do we? No, we don't. But I did make the change. I think that it should print even if it's empty. Yeah, there's the starting combo 500. This was not here before, but now it is, because we need to know, since sniper weapons will benefit from this thing, and if we don't know what the starting point was, well, we won't know to account for it. So you could change it and no one would have known, but now we will. Result saving warning. Here's the bad boy. You know how like you have a build and you want to save it, but you're like, okay, did it save? I pressed the button, did it work? Where did it go? I don't know where it went, but now you will. It'll explicitly tell you result saved to the path that it saved it. And then it'll tell you, you can change the save location in options. Go back, options, right here, result save location. And if you don't know how to make that work, you just have to do this basically. Go to folder, copy this, paste it here. I could, right now at least, I can improve this to just like open a window and select it for you. But back when I didn't have internet, I didn't know how to do that. So I did it this way. Okay, result deletion lock. Let's go to results. You see this bad boy right here, this little lock icon? Yeah, one issue that I've had when I was testing for like rifles, I would accidentally right click on these, because if you like this, if this was unlocked and I clicked like on this 3, gone. The data's gone. That was really annoying. But now I made this lock. When that lock is on, right click, it's locked, bro. We cannot delete that bad boy. Good. Mod loading from previous result. This was also something that I really felt like it was necessary. When you're testing the same weapon over and over again, trying to find the best build, which is how you should use this program, then you're like, okay, I want to go back to this build because I've changed the mods, but I want to go back to these, and I have to do this. Oh, it was serration, yeah, I've changed this, because there's 8 of them. You're probably not going to remember exactly which ones have changed, and then you're going to go back. You'll be like, okay, serration, what was the second one? Then going back, galvanized chamber, add galvanized chamber. What was the third one? That's really annoying. Let's not do that. This load icon, boom, loaded. It wasn't the one you wanted? Oh, boom, this one, loaded. Maybe it was this other one, boom, loaded. So much easier. It made my life so much easier. That was a really good feature. I'm really proud of myself for that one. Even though it's not too complicated, it did feel pretty scary to develop. And yeah, I talked about save location already. So yeah, there you go. A whole bunch of changes. Really proud of myself for this one, especially those few months which I didn't have internet. And I had to make changes, no Googling, no looking shit up, no AI to tell me what the syntax was for this section, all myself. Not even a damn manual. Even the documentation for C# didn't have it. Because I tried downloading it back in the day, but I couldn't figure it out right away. It took a bit of effort, and I was like, well, I have internet, I'll just look it up. When I didn't have internet though, what am I going to do now? Just have to figure out what to do with just what I've already have in my brain. And turns out, when you actually use your brain completely 100%, no relying on anything else, you can do a lot of things that you didn't think you could, but you can. Yeah, I think that was the whole list, right? Yep, that's it. What, 30-minute video, dear Lord. Yeah, let's move on. I'll see you guys in the next video, which is probably gonna be I might make a video talking about the changes I'm going to make, or I have made, about for bows, because the next video is bows. Or I might just not. I might just go for the bows and just make them. Who knows? We'll figure something out. I'll see you guys next time, and bye bye.